Hello everyone, welcome to today's webinar. Um, Today's topic is IP camera basic for surveillance, and my name is EJ. And in today's topic, we will cover those topics. I will introduce some common technology terms of the video surveillance, such as depth of view, uh, wide dynamic range, auto gain control, and I will introduce some different uh, video compression modes such as H.264 and JPEG. And we will also learn how to choose the suitable camera setting in different scenarios. Okay, and I will also introduce some basic integration concept between IP camera and the VMS. Okay, let's start today's course. Depth of field. What is depth of field? Basically, in order to understand how to set a proper scene composition, it is very important to understand the concept of depth of field. When focusing a lens on an object, there is a certain distance range in front of and behind the focused object that also comes into focus. And this range, we call it the depth of field, and indicate the distance between the closest and the furthest point that come into focus under the same focus adjustment. In other words, the depth of field is the portion of a scene that appears sharp in the image. So you can see that on the left side, the image is blurred. It means that because it's too close to be in focus. And on the right side is too far, so it's also blurred. Only in the middle side, in the depth of field, where the image is in focus, you can see the object is clear. Okay, so the depth of field is a portion of the scene that appears sharp in the image. Okay, and in those pictures, you can see there's a different depth of field. On the left side, the depth of field is more shallow, so you can see the car in the far side is very blurred, and on the right side, the picture you can see the green car. We can also see it very clearly because the depth of field is more deep. When the distance between the closest and the furthest point that comes into focus is long, the depth of field is called deep. And when short, the depth of field is called shallow. So in the example, we can see the same thing with different depth of DOF, which is depth of field. The one on the right was a deep depth of field because the three cars are all in focus. The one on the left has a shallow depth of field because the only car in focus is the red one, and the objects outside the depth of field looks blurred. Okay, let's talk about the relation between iris and the depth of field. Okay, the size of the opening in the lens mechanism, we call it the iris, and the more it opens, the shallower the depth of field, and vice versa. As an example, we can take a look at the image on the top. It has an iris fully opened. Therefore, the depth of field is shallow. And on the contract, on the bottom image, the bottom picture, the iris is very small, almost close, but we have a very deep depth of field range. So it's more like a trade-off because if you open the iris, the more light can come into the camera, and on the other hand, if you close the iris or close it to a very small portion, and there will be less light coming to the camera, so the image will be darker. So the more light comes into the camera, you can get a brighter image, but you get a shallow depth of field. On the other hand, if you close the iris, you get darker image, but you got a deeper depth of field. The next thing we are talking about, what we will talk about is about the colors. Okay, those are three different pictures, and you can see the light itself also has its own color according to the type of light source. A different light source type will emit different color of light, and our human eyes don't have this problem because we can still tell the true color of the object no matter what kind of light condition it is. But the reason is that human eyes can adapt to change in light source colors. In other words, the color of a particular object will always look the same under all kinds of light sources. Sunlight, candlelight, no matter what kind of light sources, human eye can always tell its true color. Now, with the color video cameras, it is not the case because camera captures these differences. They capture the color of the light itself plus the color of the object in the scene. So let's take a look at those pictures as an example. Okay, so the scene is captured by our eyes as mostly white. However, for a camera, due to the influences of the light color, the scene turns reddish, bluish, and to avoid this kind of problem, there's a function in the IP camera. It's called the auto white balance. When you enable this function, the IP camera will adapt it to different light condition and make the object look more closer to its true color. Okay, the next thing we'll talk about is the lighting. It is very important to choose the proper lighting in different kind of scenarios. And no matter how advanced or expensive your camera is, without proper lighting, you cannot. You will get a very poor video. Remember, with more light, you get higher image clarity. So, to make sure your subject is well lit, you should make full use of the light sources as much as possible. Like in an outdoor scene, put daylight or street lamp into consideration. In the indoor, the fluorescent light could be your main light sources. And if necessary, don't hesitate to add more artificial light like the YLED light or IR LED light, which play an important role in the night vision. Visible light levels are measured in lux. You can use the lux meter to more precisely investigate and planning for your light environment. And in those pictures, you can see in the outdoor, we use the visible light, and with the dark environment, we use the IR light. The next thing we'll talk about is the light and the camera position. Okay. So, camera's position and direction has a great influence on how the light affects the scene. Here we offer you some basic tips that you should put in mind when install your camera and lights. Tip number one is that don't point the camera directly to the light sources because it may cause glares that will totally spoil a great portion of the image. But another thing is that when using the external light sources, like street lamps or flow light, your camera may point right toward right toward the light, which may cause light pollution in your image. As you can see in those pictures, if you put the camera in the improper position, it will cause the image glare, and the image will become totally unrecognized. So when watching the traffic, car headlight wouldn't be your main light sources. However, the glare may cover the car plate. A good security light can be placed behind or beside the camera of the object. Okay, so there are two other tips. The tip number 2 is that to avoid pointing the camera at a glass window, it may cause reflection of IR glare. If it's inevitable, leaving the minimum space as possible between the lens and the glass surface. Okay, so and the tip 3 is that don't place the camera in the shaded place looking into the well-lit area, or you'll get overexposed. If it's inevitable, use a camera with wide dynamic range feature, or try to shooting from the side. So in the picture, you can see that if you put the camera too close to the glass window, it will have IR glares, like the picture on the top right corner. And on the bottom right corner, you will see the picture which is overexposed very clearly. It is because the camera is installed in the shaded place, but it's direct looking into a well-lit area. So you will see the camera is very overexposed, and the user may not be able to see the face of the people that come into the lobby. Okay, so another thing is that about the lens, how to adjust the camera lens. Okay, state of tuning the lens is like this. Adjust the focus so that the viewing area is in focus, and adjust how much light allowed through the lens for the scene, and define the size of the scene. Those are the things that you can adjust in your lens. And as your lens has been chosen, let's start tuning and to fit the scene you want to shoot. So you should always keep in mind in order to set to tune the lens. So let's take a very focal lens as an example. The first thing to do is define the viewing angle by adjusting the zoom ring. Simply turn the ring toward tele position to get a more close-up view, or wide position to get a wider viewing angle. After the angle is divided, turn the focus ring to your target object into focus. And finally, based on the lighting condition on your scene, you can adjust the iris. To increase the depth of view, you can try turning the ring from O to C, where you will observe a darker image, but you will get a more deeper depth of field. And for the best result, you should try to adjust by both day and night scenario if it's a day and night application, where the camera has to work on the different light condition. Okay. Okay. So other thing is that adjust the video quality in the camera firmware. So as you can see, after adjust the physical equipment like adjust your lens, install the camera in the proper light condition. The other thing to do is to adjust the camera firmware setting to get a better image quality. So if you go to the camera firmware, you will see a setting like contrast. So from low to high contrast, on the left side, you can see the picture with low contrast transfer, and on the right side, you can see the picture with high contrast. You can see in the with the higher contrast, the picture will be more clearly. And this is the brightness setting. On the left side, you can see the image is very dark. But on the right side, on the other hand, if you set the brightness too high, it might overexpose the video and cause the image blur. So the important thing is to find the proper setting, not too high and not too low. And this is the sharpness setting. As you can see, higher sharpness definitely give you more clear image. And here is the setup of the shutter speed. As you can see, slower shutter speed may cause, if the objects move really fast, like this object, and if you have shutter speed too slow, you might get this kind of image. But if you have a high shutter speed, you can see the object more clearly. And this is usually in the traffic surveillance, because usually the car drives very fast. And if you use the shutter speed too slow, and you might get a very blurred license plate and cannot recognize it. But if you can get a higher shutter speed, you might be able to catch the car driving fast and also be able to see the license plate and recognize the number on it. But please notice that with the higher shutter speed, it means that there will be less light come into the camera, so the image might be darker. Okay, so here is the compression mode. We have in current market, there are 3 types of compression mode that usually be used in the IP camera. There are H.264, NJPEG, and the MPEG-4. What's the difference? Theoretically, H.264 has the highest compression ratio, which means with the same bit rate, with the same file size, H.264 has the most data quantity. So you usually have, if you decompress the H.264 streaming, you usually has the better image quality. On the other hand, NJPEG has the lowest compression ratio, so you can see the video quality is not that good. But there's a trade-off, is that if you use the H.264, you will increase the loading from the camera side. Also on the client PC side, because to compress the raw data into the H.264 format requires higher CPU loading. So that will be the trade-off to use the H.264 video format. So if you have a lower PC spec, you might consider, and you have a lot of camera channels, you might consider to just use the NJPEG to reduce the CPU loading of your PC. Okay, so I want to introduce another feature that is, I believe is very common in current IP camera market. It's called a wide dynamic range. So what is wide dynamic range? It's a technology where the camera range is tended to cover a greater span between bright and dark area in the image. So as the light level falls, there's a technology like an increased image visibility. So as you can see on the left side, with the WDR off, the people, the face of those people cannot be recognized because the room will be too dark. But if the wide dynamic range is on, you can clearly see the people in the room. So I believe it's a very common feature and can be applied in different kind of scenario. So there's another function is called DNR, the digital noise reduction. It can eliminate the noise and the false color from the single frame. As you can see that with the DNR is on, the noise in the image is dramatically reduced. The noise is most undesirable artifacts that damage the quality. So here the digital noise reduction technology comes handy. The simplest digital noise reduction method find out the pixel that merely has a relation in color to its surrounding pixels and remove noise, gain, and false color. So as you can see in the picture, without DNR, the circle around area is full of noise, so you can't even tell the original color. But with the DNR, the image is clean and the color is correct. So there's a more advanced DNR technology called the 3D DNR. It works primarily by comparing one frame to next and removing tiny specks that are not in the same in each frame. So not only detects and removes undesirable noise within the same frame, but reduce the image blur generated when capturing moving object in low light condition. Also, there's another thing. It's called AGC, the auto gain control. So as the light level falls, there's a technology that can increase the image visibility. The auto gain control automatically switch on when the light diminishes and amplify the video signal to make objects in the dark more visible. However, you should put in mind that the noise becomes more visible. So it has a trade-off because when you amplify the video signal, you also amplify the noise. So visibility increased along with the noise. That's the trade-off of the AGC function. And I believe that's also the reason that most camera will have higher bit rate in the nighttime, because in the nighttime usually there isn't enough light conditions, so the camera will automatically turn on the AGC function. So, but because it also increased the noise of the image, so the image and the noise also means the signal. So increase the signal, increase the bit rate of the camera. So that's the reason why usually customer will have users usually has a higher bit rate at the nighttime. So here are some case scenarios. As you can see that with exposure, white balance, AE reference, target, shutter speed, iris. This is a table that teach the users to what's the parameter he has to adjust in different kind of scenarios. So let's have a summary. Camera profiles and image quality. While focusing, set highest resolution and bitrate, and focus on the daylight may be slightly different from the night. User may need to focus again at nighttime. Dual stream profile allows user to configure different sets of video settings regarding day and night mode. Make sure that the combination of the shutter speed, auto gain control, and the lighting condition is ideal. And also, the slow shutter speed cannot recognize moving object. And the last one is that to increase the shutter speed, please install the IR light to maintain the visibility at the same time. Okay, the last part is about the camera integration. Okay, so why do we need integration? As you can see in this picture, that now we have so many kinds of devices, laptop, a phone, NAS, your smartphone, your iPad, television, PC, IP cam, whatever it is. So many different kind of devices, but to use them in the same project, you have to make sure that those devices can communicate with each other. So we need to integrate them. So in the video surveillance industry, we have a VMS, of course, and we have IP camera. So the traditional way that we integrate the camera is to use the camera CGI command. So with the CGI command, that the VMS knows how to pull the video stream from the camera, how to control the PTZ of the camera, how to adjust the resolution, FPS of the camera. So that's the problem, is that we have a problem because there are so many different camera manufacturers. So VMS vendor like us, Nuo, we really have a big trouble because we have to integrate so many camera from so many different manufacturers. So why not just use one single CGI command? It's called OnVIF to integrate them. So we have OnVIF now. So everybody uses the same language, use the same CGI command. So we only have to follow the protocol of the OnVIF, and then it should be used by the VMS. So as you can see, Nuo can support the OnVIF, but of course there are some limitation of it. Okay, so OnVIF actually has a lot of different versions. OnVIF has a version 1.0, version 2.0 now, and for Nuo, we support the Profile S version 12.06, and that's the profile we usually support now. And please notice that we only support the function of the first video stream, and the issue that the function except the video first stream will not be listed as technical issue. So if you have a problem with the PTZ control, the audio, it will not be considered as a technical issue and be handled by the Nuo tech support. And if you got your camera, and you might wonder, does my camera support by Nuo? Actually, it's very easy to tell. You can just go to the Nuo website. Here is the web link, and you go to this page, and you will see that in the supporting the cameras page, you can check if your camera is supported by us. in here, here is the product type. For example, if you are using the main console, you can click on main console, and then here is the camera supported official release here. In here, you can see the total camera supported list. And if you already know your camera manufacturer, you can just click here. For example, if you are using an ACTI camera, you can just click ACTI and then see what's the camera that is sold by ACTI is supported by Nuo. And after you go to the click on the support list, here is the list look like. So here you can see this is the version of our device pack, and here is the, of course, the manufacturer name, ACTI, and here is your device name, and this will be the firmware that is tested by our RD and confirm that compatible with Nuo product. So please notice that always to use the compatible camera firmware, or they might cause some potential compatibility issue. And in here you can see what kind of video format it supports, what's the resolution, max resolution, does it support the audio, does it support the I/O, does it support the PTZ, and of course the camera on edge motion and dual stream. So in the support list, you can easily tell that what kind of function of your camera is supported by the Nuo system. And if you see that you get a camera but it's not on the list, I would suggest to contact your original distributor, or just contact our original sales and to initiate a new camera model integration. Also, I will also suggest the customer try to use the compatible firmware as possible as you can to avoid any potential issue. Okay, so this is today's webinar course, and I want to thank you for coming today. And if you have any problem or any question, please feel free to let me know. Thank you.